Start with you, Narendra Taneja. The big headline comparisons, straight up apples to apples between UPA 2004 to 14 and NDA 2014 to 24. Headline GDP comparison is that under the UPA, 10 years, it was 6.8%. Under the NDA, it is 5.9%. What is your defense? What is your argument against that?
Honestly, I mean, there is no comparison. What India has seen, the world has seen the last 10 years under Prime Minister Modi's leadership is unprecedented. From Fragile Five, Jaka, you will remember Fragile Five, that used to be, on Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, practically all pink newspapers around the world. From Fragile Five, India has become now the strongest five. That's what it is. So I say that, you can imagine in just 10 years, we have come such a long way, and the fruits of that, the fruits of economic development are there for everybody to see. You travel from north to south, just please travel. Go from east to west. You see growth, you see development, you see infrastructure development, you see smile, you see new plans all across the country. That's what we have managed. And just to give you, since you are talking of numbers, what was our GDP? Less than 2 trillion. We are close to 4 trillion now. In terms of, for instance, when you come at the foreign exchange reserves, from where to where. In fact, what we left behind in NDA 1, they actually brought down foreign exchange reserves even below that. So the reason, everybody knows, Zaka, reasons were very simple. There was no cockpit in the economic India when they were in power. Dr. Manmohan Singh, with all due respect to him, but the problem is there was a super prime minister. There was a Chota Prime Minister, and there was a Prime Minister who was challenged every day. That was the situation. Okay. Imagine a country of India's size without economic cockpit, because captains were somewhere else. And then who does know about scams, scandals, and everything that used to be in newspapers, not only India, across the world. They destroyed the image of India. Okay. They did such great disservice to the country. What we have done in last 10 years, Zaka, we have brought where. And just quickly, you may wonder, why didn't we bring out the white paper, let's say in 2015-16? You know the reason? Because they had done so much of damage. We didn't want to talk about that in front of the whole world. Our duty was first to repair, to bring India back.
So
and
let me ask,
now we are sharing this with the people.
Salman Soz of the Congress Party, one big attack point you have two essentially against the NDA government, economically speaking. One is on jobs, the other is on inflation. But if you look at the inflation figures, 10 years of UPA, the average inflation was 8.1%. 10 years of NDA, it is 5.4%. It is under the 6% bracket where the RBI wants it to be. So as per the 10-year average data itself, your one big attack plank against the NDA fails.
There's not one attack point or two. There is so much that one can talk about, and I'm happy to talk about it. And I will also hopefully get a few points across to Taneja ji. The big thing that matters is not just economic growth. What matters is per capita income. What has happened to per capita income growth in India? Because we only have 9 years of data for Prime Minister Modi's 2 tenures. 180% was the per capita income growth under Dr. Manmohan Singh's first 9 years. 180%. Taneja ji, please listen. 180%. Compare that to Prime Minister Modi's first 9 years of 58% per capita income growth. The big thing that we keep talking about is jobs. No country can create jobs without investment. And what was the investment ratio for the country when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was there? 34%. What is it right now? The average for these 9 years is 29%. In fact, you might be interested to know, Zaka, that the highest ratio achieved under Prime Minister under Modi ji, highest investment ratio under Modi ji is lower than the lowest investment ratio under Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Okay, please do not tell us about the economy. Then talk about exports. The export ratios of the UPA 9 years better than the export ratios of Prime Minister Modi's 9 years. Okay, foreign direct investment as a ratio of GDP far better under Prime Minister Manmohan Singh than under Prime Minister Modi. If you want economics,
No, no,
if you want to compare on
Salman.
economics,
There are
that's what we're
numbers
doing.
and there are numbers and there are statistics.
What do you mean there are numbers? What do you
Once
mean?
again, for foreign exchange reserves, when UPA demitted office was under $350 billion. Foreign exchange reserves right now is over $600 billion.
Very good, very good. I'm glad you mentioned that, Zaka. Now, let me tell you, nobody looks at absolute numbers. What you have to look at is what is it as a share of the economy. If you can show me that the foreign exchange reserves now are higher than they were under Prime Minister Manmohan Singh as a share of the economy, I'll resign right now.
Taneja, respond. I need to move from the headline figures to some of the other things that I mentioned in the white paper about targeted sort of schemes for the poor. But Taneja, please respond to that. On the jobs figure particularly, the UPA, the India Alliance keeps attacking you.
They can't say anything on jobs.
They are saying average jobless rate for 10 years of UPA was under 3%. I think 2.59 was the highest in the 10 years of UPA. Under NDA, the highest jobless rate was 6.6% in 21-22.
You see, the point is, look, I mean, all the data that, my friend is talking about, Salman Soz, you see, how are you calculating, let's say, per capita? You take the GDP, you take the population, you go for the division, right? Have you included in that support in terms of food that we are giving to the ordinary people, those who are vulnerable, those who need, number one? Direct transfer, have you included that? Have you included, for instance, the kind of subsidy and the supports that we have not done that? And if you have done that, which state you are talking about? Number two, the point is, Salman Soz, you are a World Bank trained economist. When the entire world, newspapers like Financial Times, Wall Street, they all say India fragile five. You think they know nothing about economics? They think they were ignoring the numbers and the facts you are talking about? No, the fact is we were fragile five. We can have a discussion for endless discussion on that. Look at the banking. The banking, the state of India's banking was so bad. From there, when people people were not sure about their money in fixed deposit in the bank. From there, today, one of India's bank is among the top 10 in the world. In just less than 10 years, we have done that. The telephone system, where the phone call will go and the money will start flowing into the account of the people who would run away later. That's what you did. We can have an endless discussion on that. The point is, come from fragile five to strongest five. You think fragile five was wrong?
Let me open it up to the other two guests also. They've been waiting patiently, Shekhar Iyer and to Prashanjit Bose.